is Jamie Patricof, co-founder of Electric City Entertainment, which is a production company based in LA. And he's the producer of the movie The Zookeeper's Wife, which hits theaters on Friday, just 2 days from now. Jamie, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's just kick it off. What can you tell us about the experience in creating this particular movie?
This is an extraordinary experience. I mean, to be able to make a movie about this time period, that deals with the Holocaust, but in a completely different way, was very special for me. I've gotten to work on a handful of films over my career. All of them have special meaning. But this one, you know, growing up as a Jewish man and being able to work on a film like this really is just a unique experience and speaks to sort of a special part of me.
And it's based also on a true story. And so how was that for you in trying to keep it as close as possible to the actual story?
Yeah. It's always challenging when you're doing a true story because you want to be as accurate as possible, but you're also creating something that is a movie. It was really important to the director, the screenwriter, that we stayed as accurate as possible. And the end product really is really a very accurate portrayal of what occurred in those times.
Right. As a producer, though, a movie like this can perhaps present a lot of challenges. I mean, you're working with children, you're working with animals, which a lot of people say those are things you shouldn't work with in the industry. To filming actually a time period piece, there are a lot of challenges. What would you say if perhaps one of those challenges sticks out more than another, was most daunting in this process?
Well, yeah, the rule is don't work with children or animals.
Right.
So
we broke both of those rules in the same movie.
We broke them every day in the same movie. I think the most challenging part of working with kids and animals is you can't really tell a child or an animal what to do. So our director, Nikki Caro, decided really early on she was going to allow the animals to live within our space, and we were going to sort of work with them. So every time we're going to shoot something, you might want a lion to go this way, but it's a little challenging to tell a lion which way to go. For us, and we have a scene in the movie which is probably the most challenging, which was an elephant birthing scene, where there's a distressed elephant giving birth, and Jessica Chastain has to actually sort of get in between these elephants, and they're trained to some extent, these animals, and she's in there in the center of these massive animals and has to work with them. And fortunately for us, Jessica is an extraordinary, not only actress, but is like an animal whisperer.
That's great.
So she was able to really, befriend them and make them feel comfortable, when you're shooting a scene late at night and it's cold and lots of people around. And that was definitely one of the most challenging scenes.
Now, sometimes in these types of films, there are moments and scenes that everyone has to kind of take a step back from just to be able to collect themselves. What would you say was that moment for you during this filming process? Which scene or what part of the movie was that?
Obviously because of the subject matter, there's a lot of challenging scenes. There's one scene where one of our main characters is watching as sort of some of these children are being boarded onto a train that's going off to a concentration camp. That was definitely something where you sort of lose yourself in the moment in the movie and realize this is something so much bigger that you're working on. But every day, you're working a movie and you're making a movie, and that you understand that. But at the same time, you put yourself in that perspective from a historical standpoint. So there were so many of those challenging moments.
Now, you are the son of venture capital tycoon Alan Patricof of Graycoff Partners. Does your father ever invest in any of your projects? You go to him and say, hey, we might need, a little more investment to maybe get more of the independent projects off the ground?
Yeah. No, he's never invested in any movie.
At least go see the movies.
He sees them. Okay. He is, he's one of my main development executives. I mean, I get an email a day about some new idea. And the independent film business, is actually very similar to the venture business. And someone has an idea, they look to other people to help for investment. They look to put together a management team. You have to grow that business, and then ultimately you're selling the business. So it's a very similar businesses, even though they're radically different. He's obviously one of my most important advisors. I'm very lucky to have him and to grow up with him, and every day he's advising me on some aspects of the business. But unfortunately, he's a venture business investor. He's not a film investor, so that's not been an area where he's helped in.
Well, he does at least come out and watch the movies.
He sure does.
Like a proud father.
Yeah, he sure does.
Just jumping on that, the sales process for you and trying to get a wider distribution for the movie. What were the considerations that you were thinking through as you were choosing a partner to go with?
This one, we got really lucky. Focus Features was on board from the early days, and it's great to have a distribution partner, especially a company and a brand like Focus that is really one of the gold standards for a long time in this business. So it really adds a level of quality that is wonderful, and they're such a filmmaker-friendly company, and they care about the quality. It was really wonderful to have them on early. A lot of times you don't have that situation, and you finance something independently and you're looking for a partner. That's a whole other process, which has its pros and cons as well.
Really quickly, what projects are you working on next?
I'm working on a project that's a TV series based on Nas's life story.
Oh, the rapper Nas?
The rapper Nas. Yes, the rapper Nas.
Okay.
Which is really exciting, which takes place starting in the early 90s in New York City and Queensbridge. So that's really exciting, and we're going to shoot that in the next 12 months. That'll air next year. So that's great. And then I have a handful of different features. And in our business, you're always working on a ton of things, so that you have to have so many balls in the air. Kind of getting back to the venture business, you need a lot of deals to figure out what's going to be the one that exits.
Well, the Nas project sounds very, very cool. I'm definitely already interested in that. If you haven't even really started shooting it just yet. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jamie Patricof, producer of The Zookeeper's Wife, which is in theaters on Friday. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks.